My article got 22 likes. A week after, I'm getting a phone call with
Yeah.
one of the biggest CEOs globally from one of the most familiar companies worldwide. Hey, Shay, saw your post.
Hey.
Let's book a meeting.
All right. Hey, Shay. Welcome to my startup podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for joining. I know it's late your time, but I appreciate you for making the effort to come on.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Absolutely. And yeah, we haven't met in person yet, but I had a, referral to you from one of my past interviewees, Gal, and he was a great guest. I'm sure you'll be the same. But yeah, if you're ever in New York or anywhere where I'm hosting events, I host events, and you're welcome to come to them. So I
Sure
hope
thing.
to,
I'm planning
yeah.
to come. I'll come soon enough.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So before we get into what you founded, what you're working on for your business, just tell me a bit about your background, like what makes you who you are, where'd you grow up, and just so we can kind of see how that transitions into becoming a founder.
Sure thing. So growing up in Israel, I was always felt misunderstood in classes due to my ADHD. So growing up, I don't know if you ever felt it, but society always trying to put you in some boxes, and I never fitted in any boxes. Gladly, I had some really great teachers and parents who believed in me, but the most important part was me believing in myself. And I think that's a power skill that I discovered pretty early. And that helped me to raise myself, teach myself, which is another amazing tool, self-learning. So growing up, misunderstood, I started to discover what I explored what is ADHD. And I discovered, Brandon, that ADHD is not a misfunction or a bad behavior. It's actually a feature. It's not a bug. So I started to explore even deeper this feature and discovered that when I'm concentrating and when I'm in my zone, I can do whatever. So I started from going to my doing my BA in communication, and during the third year of my communication school, I decided that I want to start also learning psychology. So during my third year, I also took the entire classes of the psychology school
Nice.
just to be able to apply to MA in psychology, social psychology. I
Yeah.
got accepted. I was the first ever communication student doing the leap from communication studies to psychology. And today I'm also a psychologist, certified psychologist. And during my psychology studies, my MA, my master's degree, I also founded my company. So this is, in short, my entire journey that
Nice.
I'll
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit later.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I mean, I'm just thinking now, as you said that yeah, it can be tough to pay attention. But maybe that's a sign that your body's telling you, oh, maybe you shouldn't be focusing on this thing. It should be something else. Because, like you said, I mean, I have trouble focusing on some things, but if there's something that I'm passionate about, I have no trouble at all, right? So maybe if school is not in, is hard to pay attention, and maybe it's better to focus your efforts on something that feels a lot more effortless, like you mentioned. So
Yeah, and today also as a closure, as part of running my business, I'm also serve as a faculty member where I studied, which is
oh,
an
congrats
amazing
on that. That's
closure.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, and being able to deliver practical tools and knowledge to students is the greatest gift that I can ever give someone.
Yeah. And so what do you think it was what was the first thread that you came across that really like drew your focus in that really invoked that passion from you and started your journey?
Sure. So let's go back to 2016. I'm starting my first position as a social media and marketing manager.
Okay.
And I think in the first few weeks of my into my position, LinkedIn got bought by Microsoft. So I'm coming to my boss and I'm telling her, "Hey, something is up. We need to be there." And she's like, "No, let's invest our time in Instagram stories. They just launched it." And I was like, I'm gonna create content that's going to be deleted after 24 hours. I'll do it, but without telling no one. I just went and established the university where I worked LinkedIn page, and within a month we got 10,000 followers. And by the end of this
Great.
year, it was selected to be among the top 5 pages in Israel.
That's incredible.
And are you familiar with the movie Bruce Almighty?
Yes, yeah.
Sure. So you know the scene that he's like typing on his computer
Right.
relentlessly? Okay, so this is what happened to me because I discovered this thing called LinkedIn that nobody knows. The only people who are talking or doing LinkedIn are either job seekers or HR managers. And I'm a marketeer, social media manager. And I'm like starting to explore everything like Bruce Almighty on my computer. I worked relentlessly about getting every piece of knowledge that I can get on this platform. I read manually all the terms and services, everything to get to the bottom of the algorithm and how LinkedIn is actually tick. Starting a podcast about it as well, to talk about it, position myself, putting my voice up there. Started to get really great reactions, and then establishing my business, and today also venturing within my business that we can elaborate a little bit later. But yeah, that's my origin story.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, it's a good sign that you're hitting on a solid target audience. I myself can already feel myself wanting to know what are these answers that you found out on LinkedIn, how to grow so rapidly, and how can I learn those? So I'm already my interest is peaked. So does this segue directly into when you started your company? Once you found that you could get this traction, is that when you started your company?
Kind of like Israel is pretty well known for being the startup nation, right? Um, so many startups came out of here. You know most of them. And starting my business, my first ICP, my first potential clients were founders of startups that are lacking on LinkedIn, that are not using LinkedIn methodically. They're not utilizing the platform in order to get more applications for jobs or more traction from investors or more selling their product. So my foot in the door was establishing and managing LinkedIn profiles for founders. And also by meeting those founders and working with those ventures and startups also got me hooked to this entire entrepreneurial journey as well, the bug.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I relate to getting that entrepreneurial bug. I mean, hosting my own events and I also as we're doing right now, I have this founder podcast. It's always so interesting to hear people's stories. But yeah, I would love to learn more about as a founder myself, someone on LinkedIn. What's I guess if you're from day one, you have a product, you have an MVP, and you want to start off establishing your brand, where do you start? What do you prioritize? Because there's so many things. Oftentimes, people feel overwhelmed with all these platforms. Of course, we're focusing on LinkedIn right now, but there's all these different forms of content that you could create. What should be prioritized?
Sure. So I'll surprise you with my first two moves. It will be super surprising. The first one was to hire an outsourced CFO.
Really interesting. That is
CFO as a
surprising.
service, right? The second move was to hire an outsourced lawyer. And why
Okay.
is that? It's super important to have two major roles that you can be accountable for, that will check upon you, that will be your guidance, will let you know what you cannot do, which is super important. And it's really helping you to align. And as soon as you get those two people in your right and left corner, you feel much more safer to explore, but also much more dedicated and aimed toward the target that you already set. So at the beginning, we and my partner, we wanted to get to startups. So we wanted to make sure that our contracts, for example, are suitable for startups that are depending on investors' money. So building the pricing and building the contract that will fit and will also be able to my business to
I
be
see.
positive in cash flow.
Yeah.
So early on, I discovered not only how to establish a company or running a product or service, I actually learned how to build an organization.
Mm,
So we build a vision, we build values, we build not only the the product and how we want to sell it and the product market fit and everything. We also aimed about the stuff that most companies or startups that I'm meeting today are not doing. And the last thing I did, which is my zone of genius, this is where I'm at my best, marketing.
marketing.
I'm a marketeer. From day one, I've built curiosity, I've built trust, I've built authenticity around my brand. And looking back, I think those three stuff that I did early on was more important than my MVP, because the product that I started with and the thing that I'm currently having, or I know that I'm going to have by the end of the year, is exponential larger than everything that I dreamed of.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me from first-hand experience. I mean, hosting the events that I host and posting the interviews, it when you talk to someone that you've known for a while because they know you from these events, from the interviews, you can
They
already tell
recognize you.
yeah, they know you already. You're not starting off from nothing, and it goes a long way with earning their trust that you built up even before, like you said, even before having a product. So that definitely I felt that firsthand. And so you mentioned yeah, prioritizing hiring a CFO and a lawyer. So is this after you've raised funding, or how do you afford those two roles? Because they can be, quite costly.
Perfect. So I'm actually till today bootstrapping, no a
Yeah,
single dime from from investors.
nice. Yeah,
If you're asking me, like, I know not all startups, it really depends on the field and everything, but if you can bootstrap, it's always better, because when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm working on being profitable. Every dollar that I'm spending is going out of my pocket, so I'm much more responsible and I'm not
right.
owing anything to anyone.
Yeah,
So the beginning is a little bit slower, but as soon as you crack the code, you're starting to have big leaps. So if you can bootstrap that, you should give it a try at least.
yeah,
So how I actually bootstrap the entire thing without bringing any money from home or anything, I started my business while still working for a full-time job.
right.
It was 2019.
Yeah,
Today with the AI, you can do it even more easily. I cannot imagine what I would do if I had AI 6 years ago, seven
yeah,
years ago. So I was working in a full-time job and while establishing my business. And every step that I took that I saw that is bringing me more money from the side, I started to let go of that job. So I was doing it patiently. It took time. I want to be
right.
straight honest. It took 2 years.
Yeah,
It took 2 years. I haven't spent for 2 years even $1 from my business that I established. So from
okay,
2019 till 2021, I still had a job, like a full-time job, while
right.
establishing my company, building it, raising my own funds over there. But
Yeah.
today, looking back, it was worth it because I don't owe no one anything, and I own my own company.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really it brings a lot of clarity if you're able to create this machine or product that's self-sustaining without any kind of third party. You can know it's sort of airtight, right? It's
Yeah,
the only factors are the costs and the revenue coming in, and so if you're making money without any outside investment, without any injection of cash, then it's sustainable. So it makes things very clear that way. And of course, like you said, it's your own. You don't have to worry about conflicting interests or yeah, maybe some outside persuasion that the investor wants. So that's nice as well.
yeah. And I actually have another quick remark in our pre-call. So we were discussing that I like basketball and NBA.
Yeah,
And it's a very familiar notion that most NBA players are getting bankrupt after a few years out of the league.
Sure.
And the reason for that, because they are getting into the league very young, getting huge amount of money, and they don't know how to deal with it. I think it's parallel to getting a lot of money from investors. You're
Okay.
getting the money, you think you should have the biggest and best office with a pool table and some beers and some happy hours and like flying to conferences and stuff. But bootstrapping is actually the best financial education that you can have. Luckily, I have an amazing partner that he's responsible for anything related to budget and money wise. And that's another tip. I would never be able to reach the altitudes I got without Eli, my partner. The combination and also the separation between the two of us is what actually make this business grow.
Yeah, that's great that you have a good partner, a good co-founder, because that's it can be tough to find one. And of course, it's good if there's one that you've known for many years that you can then partner up with. To keep lean like that is a practice and a talent in its own right that you want to sustain. And when you get a lot of funding, then the more space you have for error, financial error, the more you're going to practice, creating financial errors, right? And you're going to sort of expand to fill that space that's been given to you by the investor. And so, but if there's a necessity to be lean, to be financially lean, then you'll be forced to stay that way. And so that necessity will cause you to learn, like you said, and to think of good ways, clever ways to do things to save money. So completely
Yeah.
agree there. And do you mind just walking me through an example of say maybe a recent client? You don't have to say any names, but just a rough profile of what kind of client you might work with, how they might go through your series of products and services.
Back in the days when it started, we had a bunch of products or services that we can offer because we really believe that each one of them is suitable for certain industry or field. And that was our foot in the door. So we started with one thing and then building the relationship, and we expanded to more stuff along the way. Today, as we are pretty well known and our name is speaking for itself, clients are approaching us. And then for me to deliver the best possible results for them, I need to come in with everything that I got. So today we're aiming to onboard with everything that we do at the same time. So it's changing, it's transforming our entire way of delivering and also hiring and also the processes within the company. And also my go-to lesson is that I'm preferring to have less clients, but that paying more or
Right.
much more major rather than just to running around through tons of clients from all over, making sure that everything it can be a hustle. It can drain you. So that's another lesson that over the years I learned in the hard way. But I'm glad
Yeah.
that I learned it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Just the other day, I was when I was bouncing ideas off of AI, I was realizing that maybe it makes sense to not do so many tech networking events in the city, but to focus on good quality ones. Because the as you scale with more events, there's a lot more work versus if you scale in the quality. I mean, once you figure out how to do a quality event, you can just kind of copy and paste that and keep doing it. So it scales, much the scale of the work involved is much less when you drill down and create something that's consolidated and high quality versus, like you said, all over the place running around with all these different in my case, venues, your case, different clients you were saying. It makes it tough that way.
Yeah, and as you were speaking, I was thinking about what made the biggest change for me. I used to say yes to everything. Shay, do you want to come to this
Yeah.
event? Yes. Hey, do you want to meet this guy? Yes. Da, da, da. Ever since I started to say no, my
Yeah.
life, not my work, my life got
Yeah.
so much better. I actually have a WhatsApp group with myself
Yeah.
where I'm sending just as reminders the no's that I said along the day.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I really trying to count them because the more someone told me before, whenever you're saying no to the world, you're saying yes to yourself. You are much more accurate. You are much more aimed.
Yeah,
And ever since I started to do this one, it was super helpful.
yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that reminder for myself too, because I often run into the same issue, just always wanting to do more things. And it's sort of a common trait, I think, with entrepreneurs to just want to say yes to everything. But it's something that will definitely shoot yourself in the foot.
It's
Uh,
it's luring, it's tempting. At
yeah.
the beginning, you want to do it. If you have a co-founder, it's easier.
Uh,
For example, Eli, my partner, this guy is the king of conferences and summits.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's better for me to stay in the office, keep the work, and for him to go to a conference. It's much more useful, for example. Sometimes we go together, obviously. And I prefer to speak in events. My charisma, the way that I'm delivering the notes and everything. So as sooner as you actually do this separation and delegation and pinpoint what everybody in your business doing better, this is how you actually build a company. I always tell our employees, my work is getting you better and comfortable
Yeah.
and push you. You're going to make the company greater, not me. I'm going to work for you. You're going to work for the company. This is how it's worked. This is our contract.
Right. Yeah, and there's certainly a common thread here, which is creating focus to the point where there is enough focus to create something of quality. Because if it's not above a certain quality, then people won't buy it. But yeah, in the first case, it was saying no so that you have enough time to focus on the right things. And in the second case, it's dividing according to whoever whichever specialty you have, and then finding focus in that way. So two
And,
different ways
and
of finding focus in order to get that level of quality.
yeah, and the best part about it is that people don't want to be sold. People want to buy, and that's a
Right.
big difference. My master's degree is in social psychology and decision making, so I'm really trying to get to what make people tick. And when doing B2B marketing and building my business, MAIA, and everything that we do, I'm always trying to think what's going to make people want to work with us and know
Mm,
how I'm going to generate more leads.
right.
And that's a whole method and a whole methodology that I can elaborate later.
Yeah. What well, it seems like you have a lot of experience and insights in this area. Is there someone that initially mentored you to bring you into this space that you learned a lot from?
Wow, that's a good one. I think every person that I had the chance to meet gave me
Yeah,
something.
that makes sense.
I'm a big time person for personal reflections. I'm reflecting with myself a lot. I'm processing my day. But you know what? I'm gonna go sideways. And instead of speaking about my mentors, I want to speak about my therapist, about my
Sure.
psychologist. I'm also
Absolutely.
going to therapy by myself. So if I'm trying to deliver as a psychologist also by myself to the
Right.
founders, to the startup people who are listening to us, that's my number one tip. Just go to therapy. It will make your life, the venture life, the entrepreneurial life, so much better. The amount of quietness and organizing and of your thoughts and everything that you will do will be much more aligned, and you will get to the other side more safely. Like, just do it, just go, because this journey can drain you, like the dementors in Harry Potter, if you know them. They're just gonna
Sure.
suck every second of your soul that you owe money to the investors, and you
Yeah.
it's a hustle. And if you got someone that you can share your thoughts with, if you have the opportunity to reflect, um, and have a mirror, you will also be a better person, and that's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's wise advice. I mean, everyone always says starting a company is such a mental battle, and why not just spend some time trying to improve your mental fortitude? And then another point you mentioned in there, it's not, of course we want to start a successful company. That's the kind of the primary goal, but at the same time we want to enjoy life, right? Throughout this struggle to start a company. Is that the, is shouldn't that also be a priority? So I think yeah, it is important
A-
to,
And
it's
when
more
you're
sustainable
safe,
too. Yeah.
when you feel comfortable, when your well-being is right on point, it's reflecting on the company. There's no
Yeah.
games, there's no right and or left. This is how it's worked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you're going around with just pure bitter, grim determination, then that's gonna, yeah, the people around you will feel that and they're gonna be in this kind of like, yes, persistent, but kind of grim mindset that's not, it's not the way that I'd like to live.
Yeah, and you should aim for consistency and not motivation.
Yeah,
And therapy and well-being will gain you consistency, more funds, more inspirations, which is good, right?
yeah,
Or more ventures or more products or more feature will get you motivated. But you want to try to build a business, not a product. A product without a business, it's like a car with no engine. Like you have to have this engine that's gonna take you to distances. So that should
right.
be the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely true. I mean, at these networking events, it's common for people to have some kind of MVP, some kind of product, but unless you have that cycle that is essential for any business, if people willing to pay for it, why? Because they're getting value out of it, then yeah, then you don't have a business yet. And so just one more question about when talking with the psychologist. Do you find it's most helpful to focus on like literally ask oh, I'm having so much trouble, like, I feel so stressed because the investor is putting a lot of pressure on me? Or do you more focus on just your personal emotions in general, not so focused towards business, and you find that kind of the help that that brings you spills over into helping out your business mindset, or maybe
That's
both,
a com- yeah,
Yeah,
that's a complex one because I think sometimes everything is mixing up because whenever you're
it's true.
founding something,
It's true.
it's not like an employee coming to work,
Yeah,
9 to 5 or anything. And when you are a founder, so it's with you also on vacation.
yeah,
So even if you have something with your spouse, so it will affect your day. So it's all mixed up together. But I found that the more that you are open up, speak, uh, the easier it gets. I'll give you a quick example.
yeah.
Every time that something bad happened to me, I shared it with my team. Yes, I'm their boss,
That's
but
good.
I came to the office. Good morning, everyone. I wanted you to know that that happened to me. I'm off today. I'm not in the right mood. In 2 seconds, the amount of empathy, the amount of
Yeah,
realization, the amount of openness, and you know what's the best part about it? Is that it's also showing them that if their boss is doing it, they can do it as well. They can feel
that's an
comfortable in
excellent
their
point.
working space to share. They don't have to share, but to express that they having a bad day, for example, they need a day off, and it's making them, for the long run, much more committed. I'll give you an example. I have around 12 employees. One of them left, like we had a bunch of them, but since we established the company, one left to pursue her degree, and one left because to raise her newborn, and the third one just left now. So 9 people still with us from ever since we recruited them. 4 years, 5 years. Why is that? Because again, building a business, it's not like only building a product. You want to have the people for the long run. You want the people to be loyal. You want them with you. And sometimes when you're building a startup or you're going around in your entrepreneurial journey, you're looking to scale fast. You're looking to sell fast. You're looking to raise more money. But again, today, and by the way, Brandon, this is what I'm seeing in the field.
Uh,
Investors are looking for stability. Investors are looking for profits. They're looking for profitable startups. And in order to do it, every change, I used to do calculation how much it's going to cost me if an employee is going to leave me. There is a
Yeah.
cost for it.
Massive.
So
Yeah.
the more that you're sightseeing and you're consulting, you're going to therapy, you're going to speak with your mentors, you're going to conferences, you're learning more, you're exploring not only how to program your product better, but also how to manage your business much more empathetically and organize it and have a vision. You building a sustainable organization that people want to work with, clients are trusting, employees want to stick to, and if you need investors, they will believe in you.
Yeah. Well, that's great to see, to hear that investors are focusing on that. I mean, one, because it's better to invest those companies, so that's good that they're getting the money, but it's encouraging to have these more positive cultures. And as you're saying, it's so easy to kind of fall into the trap of thinking that it's obvious to it should be obvious to people why I'm in a bad mood right now. You know, whatever just happened with the company or whatever it might be, surely they must realize why not in a good mood right now. But no one can read your mind, it's too tough. There's too many things that you might be mad about. And then so people's anxieties will get the best of them and they'll think, oh, he must be mad because I did something wrong. He must be mad because he's
Definitely.
disappointed with my work, which then that's bad news. You don't want to spread that kind of thoughts, those kinds of thoughts in your company, because like you said, it will lead to attrition.
Exactly. And also, if an employee is listening to us, you can come to your boss if you have this culture and
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm having a bad day. Can you prioritize what will be the number one thing you want me to do today just to make sure that I'm doing this one
Yeah.
thing right? Although I'm having, it will give you also a sense of purpose and loyalty to the place that you're belonging to. Because if you can get people believe in what you do and you give them the space and the trust to be open-minded, and they will lift your business to places that you will never be able to do alone.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, the journey is much less lonely,
Yeah.
much more fun. For example, my company, I'm taking them to volunteers. We're doing actual fun days, not just for the pictures and for the, we did like a retreat or anything. And the amount of appreciation and the amount of how it's harnessing the team, unifying them, it's much more valuable. And it also, it feel much better for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love the idea of just going on an adventure with like a group of people that you love, that you like to talk with every day, and to try out, yeah, building out the product, but also spending time doing other things, volunteering, going on little side quests there. So I mean, yeah, it's just a much more enriched, nice way to live. So again, the the well-being of your own personal life goes hand in hand with the well-being of your company's life. Um,
Actually, you reminded me a few weeks ago, we did something really cool. We decided because the most of the employees are with us for quite a bit. So we don't yet have a structure hierarchy, right? So we
okay.
wanted to get them involved in their future roles. So we brought in a workshop. It's called Lego Serious Play. I don't know if you
Okay.
heard about it. The actual workshop is with Legos,
Okay, huh.
and the instructor guided us for 4 hours
Yeah.
how to build your professional character and role. That
Uh,
was mind blowing, profounding to see
yeah.
how our employees are showing us the vision from their end because they are part of it for a few years.
Yeah.
They're,
Right.
yes, they're getting money, but they're investing their time in my company. So giving them the opportunity to determine how their role will be, it's probably one of the best thing I could ever think of because now they are much more committed because they chose it. They believe in it. This is how they see themselves operating in the next few months. So that's a cool thing that we recently do. and I highly recommend.
Yeah, no, that's I never would have thought about having a seminar like that, but that it makes sense to the ultimate goal there, of course, of finding out, well, what are people's visions, and then because if you don't know their vision, how can you align the broader vision of the company so that it aligns with their vision, and therefore that have buy-in from them, right? So
And yeah, in most companies, what they're doing today, they're like, oh, AI. Okay, let's bring them a workshop. This is the new
yeah,
tool. Start to use this. This is
right,
not the way to implement
yeah,
stuff. The way to implement stuff is to get people hooked and relate to the purpose and to the task. So,
yeah,
in order to do it, you have to get their hands dirty. They have to do the work. They have to help you to explore, because you can bring the best tool ever, you can pay for it, you can do the entire research, and then you'll discover from the field, from I like to call it from bottom up, that it's not suitable. So instead of just going around, just use the people that are with you in order to build it better.
right. Start off with that bottom up approach, and then instead of creating the goal and then seeing, okay, will my employees fit with this goal? Find out, yeah, what are they thinking first, and then go from there.
Yeah,
And speaking of all this talk of vision, so what do you see the vision for your company ultimately being down the road? Do you see it going scaling up via technology? Do you see it branching out into different parallel domains?
sure. I'll do it with a quick story, right?
Sure. Perfect.
Are you familiar with Spotify Wrapped?
Yeah.
Sure. So every year you're getting the Spotify Wrapped. You can see to which artist you're listening and the top five, whatever. On a Thursday, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. by mistake, couldn't fall back to sleep. Going to my phone, getting my Spotify Wrapped. Oh, this is so cool. From one end, I'm getting Bad Bunny and Armin van Buuren, like trance music and just like random
Yeah.
stuff, right? Reggae
Yeah.
music. I'm so diverse in my
That's good.
music. And then I'm like, damn, there is no LinkedIn rap.
Ah,
So I'm getting out of bed, Brandon, open up my computer, and by 11 a.m., right? It was 4 a.m., 7 hours, 11 a.m., I'm
yeah.
launching a new product called LinkedIn Wrap. Within a
Cool.
week, I got 1,600 users using it. After a week, LinkedIn, the actual organization, is launching his own kind of wrap, and
Okay.
people are sending me messages. Damn, Shay, your wrap that you launched a week ago was
Yeah.
much better than this one. Okay, good for me. Forget about it for a week. And then one of my clients is asking me, "Hey, is there a chance to send this wrap as a white label within our company to our
Ah,
employees to measure
that's
the
great. Yeah.
boom?"
Wow.
My
Yeah. White label
mind
it, ship it off.
now, as we speak, I have three design partners, three clients of mine that
Yeah.
are using the same program that I built with a designated dashboard that I added for them to use. I'm doing my modifications, I'm doing the changes, I'm getting the feedbacks, I'm getting it improved. So my bottom line is that I'm not a programmer. I'm not technical in any meaning. I'm super creative and I know how to recognize pains and work around them. And today with AI, it's giving me the tools, the brushes to paint. So within 7 hours, I built the first mock-up, the first MVP. And then within 2 weeks, I was already, back in the days, it used to take you a year or 2 years and lots of money to hire programmers to do it, software developers to do it. And looking ahead, I'm seeing my company transitioning more into product. I guess that we will monetize this SaaS program. And I must say, this program would never come to life if I haven't built my company and going through everything that I went through, because I've built it based on my pain and based on the needs that
Yeah.
I saw and got from 6 years before of working with clients and the hustle of building this company. And today, the time that it's going to take me to launch or to monetize will be, it took me 6 years to build a company. It will take me less than a year to scale it massively.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's that classic exponential growth curve. And yeah, it almost seems like the best way to build a startup is to build a business first. So you know all the manual, mechanical parts of it. And then once you know all those things, then you're aware of, oh, if I just automate this one, this workflow or whatever it may be, and scale that up, that's the startup right there. So yeah,
And let's do an entire closure.
yeah,
I'm funding my own product.
yes, with the
So
business, yes,
I'm investing and I got all the equity. So
yeah,
investing my time, the 2 years of bootstrapping while working in another company, that's the entrepreneurial journey. This is my origin story, and this is how. And I'm excited. We should look back a year from now. I'm sure that like it will be nice to go back to this episode and to see what happened in a span of few months. Because today with AI, and I'm sure with most of your people that you're interviewing, everybody talking about the AI, but this is an actual tangible
right.
example of how you're starting a business and then building around it a service with a culture, with values, and then you can scale it into a product.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate your focus on the actual business because it does get so product focused, especially yeah, AI for this, AI for that, and the focus always seems to be the product, and there isn't really much talk about the culture of besides like the stereotypical Silicon Valley culture. There isn't much talk about yeah, well, how should the culture of the business be? So yeah, I appreciate you bringing up those good points. But just to talk a bit more about how this LinkedIn Wrap will work. So you mentioned you compared it to Spotify Wrap. It's showing like a set of memories for or statistics about what you listened to. So in this case, what's the focus on in the LinkedIn Wrap? Is it people you've connected to? Is it posts you've made? Some thoughts about them.
Sure. So one of the pains was that I haven't mentioned it before, but I was selected by LinkedIn in 2023 as one out of 30 global certified experts.
Nice.
So, thanks. So I'm working with LinkedIn. I'm doing lectures on behalf of them. So I'm also not allowed to use any third-party tools, automation tools. I'm not allowed to overrule the terms and services. Obviously, I know lots of people are using like all kind of different automation to send a bunch of messages or comments or anything. I'm not recommending it, but I'm also not allowed to use them. So I was trying to build something for quite a bit, and I always got stuck in everything related to the API and the terms and services and everything. The thing that happened to me with this thing that I built, Wrapped, was that I was able to find a way after a long time to not overrule the terms and services and conditions. So that was the major breakthrough. So today it's working by self-reporting, right? And with a quick few steps. So you don't need to write anything. You just need to go to a certain spot in your profile, download something, and within a minute you're going to have your entire wrapped. It's going to check how many posts you had, amount of impressions, engagement, and few other metrics. Today, for the brands that we're working with that also getting the dashboard, they getting a ranking of their best employees, ranked by impressions, engagement, whatever. And you can also see, and this is super important, this is when it's crucial, their media value. What's the media value? Like how much their exposure or their activity is compared to investing budget into LinkedIn ads. So
Okay,
how
interesting.
much your investment in your employees posting and being active is worth
Yeah.
in actual tangible paid campaigns money.
Yeah, I mean that's a good both a good value to show directly to the customer how they directly how can they directly better allocate their money. So there's that direct sell point right there, and of course the actual value that they'll get from it. So that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I could see if you did have a bunch of influencers. Yeah, how do you even tell who's creating good advertisements, who's getting more engagement, unless you do have a nice dashboard like that. So that makes sense to me that would be something very helpful to have. And
Sure. So
yeah,
this answer will be built from few perspectives. First thing first, on LinkedIn, you want to use not influencers, but thought leaders. What's the difference?
right.
Influencers are for TikTok, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah,
They have a lot of charisma, lots of following. They are known for something, a trend or a special skill, and are usually outside of your company. Thought leaders are usually from within your company. They have expertise, and this is what they're known for. So using a bunch of employees from within your company, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have 10,000 of followers or more
yeah,
followers. They can have 1,000 followers, but those followers that they have are from their industry and where are you aiming and where you actually aiming for. So
yeah,
combining those people, it's a whole new approach. The second angle of working with them is related to my business. One of our services is guiding those employee advocacy groups, those ambassadors, how to work better and more properly on LinkedIn. So from one hand, we're offering you measurement, analytics, program, easy way to do it, easy way to manage it, how to scale it. But as initial step, we are also there to guide you, to be there by your side, to train them. So it's covering you from those two angles and also giving the employees attention. We are celebrating it as a company. It's creating lots of marketing assets. This is a new approach of thought leadership, and this is how we run it.
yeah. That's good to have that other step of teaching them how to use this new tool that you're giving them. Because I mean, you could just to get an analogy. I mean, you give someone a some kind of complex construction tool, they don't know how to use it. Well, it's not really worth too much to them, right? But and then
Yeah,
it's like, well, what did you sell me? Why did I pay so much money for this? I can't do anything with it. So it's good to make sure they're able to get the value
that's
out of
so accurate. And you know what? I was talking earlier about sightseeing, about exploring and being curious about other products and going to conferences and stuff. So
Yeah,
I've been trying so many tools. And Brandon, all of the tools that I tried, always asking you to sign up and then log in and
right.
authorize or connect your profile with an outsourced third party tool. The thing that I've built is not controlling or doing anything for you. It's keeping your hands on the wheel. It's taking you less than a minute, and you need to do it only once in a month.
That's nice. Yeah.
So, again, all of the experience gained during those years helped me to build in less than 7 hours an MVP that is already surpassing most of the obstacles of the clients that I used to meet.
Yeah. Yeah, there are just all those little details that you learn from actually building the business that it sort of it trains your own neural network in your head, your organic intelligence in your head, and it creates all of those those weights to continue that analogy. But yeah, that's important because and I had a previous guest on that we were talking about how it's important to sort of work through challenges and to be confident in your own choices and make mistakes because when you make those mistakes and you do a lot of anyone does that when they're building a business, that's what trains your own model. So it's good to have confidence that because if you're always relying on external advice or some other kind of tool or something, then you're not maybe it's right in the short term, but you're not building up your own model for how things should work. And then so when you want to scale things up, like you said, you won't have those answers right away because you relied on other outside external advice. So not that you don't
And
want to
today
take
everything
external
is
advice.
much more
Yeah,
quicker. You
yeah,
can trial and error was never that an important tool to utilize. Just trial and error. Just give it a try, launch it, try it, give it a shot,
yeah,
delete it, start all over again, change it, do some more homework. This is the era of trial and error.
yeah, yeah. It really builds up your own intuition, and that it's important to have that when you're running a business. So and so I thinking about like a an analytics dashboard for your thought leaders. Are there other people competing in this space at all? And if so, what do you think differentiates you? And maybe it's what you already mentioned, having that training to make sure they know how to get the best value, or one of the other things we mentioned. But
Okay, so there are most of them are also focusing on helping those thought leaders to automate and write their content. But while doing some usability testing, I found out that all of those people who are getting access to those programs are telling me, hey, Shay, but I have ChatGPT or Gemini to help me write my content. He knows me. Why
yeah,
should I start using this another tool to write my LinkedIn
yeah,
posts? So sometimes over complexity is the stick in your wheels. I took it out.
yeah,
So the easier my program is only for analytics. It's less than a minute, super easy, giving you the right feedback based with some psychology insights, no hustle, no promising of writing posts and stuff, because eventually I want to make people post more authentically and not in a shorter time or because they don't have time. So the training plus the program, that's the perfect
yeah.
match. That's how you do
Good.
it. I don't want to give up on everything right on the beginning. I want to have a sense of control and a sense of influence on how we are creating content and not letting another tool to determine for those thought leaders, because if this is how it's gonna turn out, I'll just build like lots of avatars, like bots and stuff, and just build an army of agents, and
Yeah.
they will do. But it will miss the entire point of authenticity and trustworthiness. And for that, I need the employees to be active.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something interesting. So I was talking the other day with a guy that started a business that basically takes in a lot of data from franchises. If there's a franchise, they take in all these various performance metrics for each of the franchise locations, and they use some AI, some different models to see why are the ones that are performing the best, what's causing them to perform so well. And I'm thinking about your model of your case of evaluating the thought leaders. I wonder if some kind of similar AI thing could be not to throw in that buzzword of AI, but it made me think of yeah, just finding out what are those causal factors that cause some people, or in that case franchises, to perform better than others. And it'd be interesting to see if that kind of application, because he was doing well with his startup, and maybe it could help yours out as well. But
That's a
yeah, something
that's
to
a
think about.
Yeah, it is most definitely. I think the variety of metrics and KPIs are enormous.
Yeah.
I want to give you a quick story from a few days ago. So I posted in a LinkedIn article about the one secret who can turn your CEO post to be viral.
Okay.
That's the article. It's based on two founders that I recently helped with quick little tips that actually made them go viral, right? My article got, I think, last time I checked, 22 likes. Nothing, right? I'm the LinkedIn guy, 22 likes. But a week after, I'm getting a phone call with
Yeah.
one of the biggest CEOs globally from one of the most familiar companies worldwide. Hey, Shay, saw your post.
Hey.
Let's book a meeting. Sorry
Yeah.
for my language, but F the likes.
Yeah.
This is how we do it. This is the business. The morning after, getting to a doctor for some personal stuff, he's seeing me. He don't know me, and he's like, "Eh, I saw your post. I think I know you from LinkedIn, right?"
There you
I
go.
said, "Yeah." Then he's telling me, "By the way, I'm actually also establishing a startup related to medical stuff. We should speak."
Nice.
Two people, same week. I got 22 likes, but I got two amazing feedbacks to my content. So I'm saying it because I want to give people the hope. People who are posting on LinkedIn, don't measure your post by the amount of likes, measure them by the amount of engagement, the actual engagement that you're creating from it. Messages, encounters, people recognizing you. You said it earlier. You going to conferences and people are recognizing you.
Right. It
That's
makes a
an
big difference.
unmeasurable metric that actually moved the needle.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a world of difference, not just the volume of people you're somewhat engaging with, they're giving likes, but yeah, actually who it is, what the demographic is and what their needs are, their wants are. I know hosting these events, I mean, it's so much, it's drastically different talking to this group of people that's willing to show up to a tech networking event. That selection, that filter right there selects for a very just certain type of people that are open to talking about these ideas. They're open to trying things. And they're passionate about this space. Versus if I were to network with random people at a I don't know, on the street or at my office, they may not have that same mindset. And so it'll save you a lot of time to find out how can you isolate that group that you need to talk to, and then it'll be like fish in a barrel, so to speak, with making good quality connections. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely true. And well, so I'm hosting events here in the New York area, but how is it starting a company and connecting and networking in Israel? How's that been for you? And what town are you based out of again, or city?
It's called Herzliya. It's really close to Tel Aviv. I used to live in Tel Aviv, but it's cool, like
Gotcha.
really
Yeah,
close.
right out.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Okay.
like right on the beach.
Technically, I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey, right across from the river from New York. So I'm kind of similar. Yeah, right outside. Yeah.
Nice, nice. We cannot neglect everything that is happening around the globe, but pinpoint to your question, there used to be to say that if you make it in the Big Apple, you can make it everywhere about New York. But Brandon, I'm telling you, if you can make it in Israel, you
Uh-huh.
can do whatever. Like this, like you walking around the streets, you
Yeah.
see it in cafes, you see it in coach working spaces.
Yeah.
People are working relentlessly,
Right.
tirelessly on their products, on their startups. This is
Yeah.
why we call the Startup Nation. Most of my friends are working for a startup or established a startup. So building a company here in this environment from one end can be stressful because if you're not a part of it, it looks a little bit maybe you're doing something wrong or competitive in sort of a way. But if you're looking at the bright side of it, you have so many people to consult with.
Yeah.
The amount of meetups, the amount of shared knowledge, the amount of professional groups, supporting communities, acceleration programs. It's endless. This is a small country, but with so many opportunities. So doing it here, it's super special. And I think it's also helping you build your character because
Yeah.
establishing my company during COVID, going through several rounds of attacks and wars on our land and everything, and still being profitable, still making strides, still keeping my employees, still keeping my heads up. That's a success regardless.
Yeah.
Nothing can harm me. Like whatever will happen with my company, I feel that all of these experiences that most people overseas are not experiencing, um, it's actually making you stronger. You're delivering when it's literally the most difficult to deliver. So yeah, it's building character and it's special. It's special. It's making you believe in yourself in ways that you uh, haven't thought that you can be at. Like it's actually
Yeah.
building resilience in a whole different level.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just inherently building a company is a team exercise. And so if there's kind of an environment that creates a lot of cohesiveness, a lot of persistence and a common understanding, then absolutely it makes sense that would help with the just creating a solid fortitude for a company. So that definitely makes sense to me. And as far as so when you are expanding to like a large market like the US or Europe or something, is it do you find it is it tough to bridge that gap? I know you're going to LA soon. I'm not sure if that was more business or more for the All-Stars.
Both.
Both.
Well, you get into LA, it must be
You
both.
gotta, it's gotta be both, right? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, do you find that challenging or are you not focusing on that? Are you focusing more on the Israeli market and then think about that later?
Sure. So no, we're working globally. We have clients
Yeah.
in the States, in Europe, Australia, South
Okay.
Africa. I actually also got back like less than a month ago from Dubai, from a huge conference. It was amazing. So looking across the globe and traveling and meeting people from different countries, it's actually expanding my mind. I'm seeing even more diverse thoughts, approaches. So I'm having fun learning from different people. Um, so yeah, we are expanding globally. Most of my you hear my accent, but most of my team are native English speakers. So we're working globally. The processes are the same processes, the products are the same product, and yeah, it's pretty fun to have meetings and with people from overseas, meeting new cultures, exchanging notes, brainstorming. Um, and if there is only one challenging thing that, by the way, will always be challenging, it's the intercultural differences.
Yeah. Yeah. They're always
We're
there.
sharing the same language, but the intercultural differences are different. In Japan or Dubai or LA, people are behaving differently. So being patient, being polite, being open-minded, and understand that you're coming to learn, and you need to understand and learn how they are operating from one end, but also, and I must say, the Israeli sassiness also as an expert come in and bring stuff that working in one market to the other market, and this is something that we as Israelis are doing really good. Like it sounds a little bit cocky, I get it, but sometimes in order to do something differently and rattle the ship, you have to have this bravery. Like I came to my boss, referring to the first story that I told, and tell her, hey, LinkedIn just got bought by Microsoft. You gotta get into.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little bit brave and throw the bag to the other side of the fence and just find ways to go and grab it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, as an entrepreneur, there's no doubt about it. You got to be brave because it is a risk, a calculated risk, yes, but yeah, it's certainly a risk, and so you got to be able to persist through that risk and be able to be brave and manage that. Yeah, no doubt about it. Do you feel that this industry is like, where do you see it going? Do you feel like the LinkedIn platform will become more and more promising? Do you think it'll develop into as Gen Z and Gen Alpha start to take up their careers? I guess Gen Z is well into it, but will things change, or do you still see LinkedIn being the primary area?
Um, it will change because everything is changing so rapidly.
Right.
I'll surprise you and I'll tell you that 66% of LinkedIn users are currently below the age of 35. So
Okay.
it's becoming younger.
Yeah.
It's going down from the ivory tower, less about the suit and ties. Um, so I think it will be. more personal. We will see a lot of AI. There is no escaping from it, but we'll see much more videos. We'll see much more, even more business being processed through this platform. And I think if someone representing a brand is listening to us, I think the main focus, especially for 2026, will be try to harness your current employees to be your advocates. The best marketing will go through them, instead of just posting just random graphics with some promotions and stuff. So yeah, advocating with your employees. This is my estimation. And also as a tip, repurposing. That's my motive for 2026. If you have something important to say
Yeah.
and you are communicating it, there is no single chance that you're gonna only do it once. You want to be repetitive. So if you are posting an article, after a week or two, take it, turn it into a carousel. After a month, turn it into a more blogish thing or storytelling stuff. Take your main messages and repurpose them. Just reuse them. Most of the ideas globally already been shared.
You're right. They're all
Take
reused
yours,
anyway,
bring your
right?
own perspective, and keep sharing it in
Yeah.
different perspective. Because Brendan, for example, I'm a super visual person. I like to consume my content visually. It's easier for me with my ADHD. Maybe you are more a textual guy. So when someone else is posting his content, his message, he knows his ICP. Let's say we are sitting on the same titles and industries, but maybe we consume content in different ways. Maybe in that particular day, I wasn't, it was my bad day that I told you earlier about. So you never know. So you want to keep repurposing your content until you see that someone is noticing.
Yeah, and that seems to be a very from multiple founders that are doing well in the kind of like media marketing space. That's what I've heard is about getting the most out of your content and repurposing it. And yeah, I just your friend and connection Gal, he said the same thing. He turned one of his previous posts right into a carousel, and I saw it looked great, and it almost I wouldn't have even realized that it was the same content, to be honest. I probably, as I was scrolling, I probably would have just thought, oh, it's a nice new graphic
Yeah,
design.
nobody will never say, "Oh, I saw he posted about it already." And
Yeah,
okay, and if he did, so what? He's trying another format. This is how you do it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a couple more questions here. So, what would you say is the biggest or some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Of course, the whole road is challenges in the startup life, but is there anything that really sticks out that you could speak to and yeah, tell us
There
about?
are a bunch of them. Um, I think the overwhelming of AI,
Yes, yeah,
like it's like chasing your own tail. Like
yeah. It's
I
all the
know
problems,
some
all the solutions.
from one end, I know people that are trying to learn everything. From the other end, I feel that there are the late bloomers or the late adapters that are just like, no, this is too much for me. So they're, which is
Right.
not a good strategy in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stick to the main pillars of AI, and every now and then I'm adding another one, exploring it, and only then I'm moving to the additional ones. Just it's super overwhelming. Like too
Yeah.
much information. Wow, it's mind blowing. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a
No,
challenge.
I feel all the time, and especially since I'm running AI events, so I'm sort of almost participating directly in the hype. But yeah, I myself feel the same thing. It's anxiety provoking. You feel like you're falling behind, but yeah, I think the thing to focus on is that there will be more opportunities, not less. So see it as a thing. There's all these new industries that will develop new types of products, and each new industry and product that pops up, there's all the secondary products that help out that industry, and so all these multiplications of new places and niches to dive into. So yeah, like you said, stay consistent and focused on where that value is being created, Yeah,
And
don't have
and
to.
speaking in general, like about the overwhelming of AI, so this overload of information and stuff that you can do can be deceiving and challenging on its own because
Yeah,
you're getting so much stimulation from so many different. So even just like you said earlier, pick the conferences that are more quality than quantity. So yeah, the challenge is to stay focused, pin yourself down to your goal and vision, explore, but responsibly.
yeah, yeah. And I think I just thought of to help pin that down, what we were talking about before, what you were focusing on. If you have that business domain knowledge because you built the business, well, okay, there's all these AI products out there, but who knows how to apply them in that business? The person that knows the business, right? So if you really know your business,
Exactly.
then
I would never be able to build the program if I wasn't doing it. And I'm pretty sure that if
yeah,
I'll go to investors, they will prefer to work with with a product that is backed up by a company and not just random to folks with ideas and some software developing tools.
right, yeah, because AI is great, but I mean it's great mostly when it's applied to some process that already provides value, and how can it accelerate and optimize that. But if you don't know the business, then you don't know where that accelerator that the AI can press down on is, and how it might best work. So yeah, definitely knowing the business will inform what AI to focus on. And just last question here: what's the most valuable insight that you would pass on to someone else? Someone else save 5 years with someone else, some pitfall that you ran into that, could had you known, could have saved you a ton of time, something like that. Because it's always great to hear that from someone who's been through it already.
The best insight, in my opinion, is I think I mentioned it earlier, but throw your backpack to the other side of the fence and
Yeah,
just find the ways to go ahead and bring
yeah,
it. Because what will happen is that when you will find the way to grab it, you won't need to go back to where you started on the other side
yeah,
of the first side of the fence. You'll you have the backpack, you have everything over there that you need, and you can move forward. So my insight, this tip is actual, just like a method that I'm living by. Just
yeah,
don't be afraid to declare, to obligate, to state and say stuff that you want to achieve or do. Nobody, and that's a secret, nobody will hold you accountable if you haven't. That's fine.
yeah.
That's totally fine.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's easy to get stuck in this analysis paralysis, as they say, where you're just analyzing things and you're not doing because you just think, well, what if I was taking some more information? But the best way to get information is by doing things, and like you said, throwing that bag over. And then that's maybe the only way that you can see by really putting things to the test in real life, like seeing what works and building up that intuition to see, okay, I try to go this direction and hit up against this, brick wall. Okay, you wouldn't have known that if you didn't try. So it's always important to be doing things. That way you get the information, you can get that iterative loop going, that feedback loop to see, okay, where do I reorient myself to get on the right track. So yeah, couldn't agree more. It's essential to just keep on doing and keep on pushing forward. Yeah. Well, Shay, it's been a pleasure to have you on my
Wow,
podcast.
time flies.
It does, yeah, and I appreciate you staying up
I
to
think
do.
we can, if we can go ahead like few more hours if you haven't stopped us. Yeah, it was super interesting.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And like you mentioned before, when you a year from now or a few months, whatever it might be, and you've rolled out your LinkedIn memories, then I'm happy to do another, however long you want to go, and we can, have more interesting, engaging, philosophical or psychological
Sure
conversations because
thing.
it's always very interesting. I definitely learned a lot from this one. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, till next time.
Thanks for having me.